It's the 15th of April, the start of a new week, and plenty of alpha. The crypto market is rebounding, but liquidations have been intense. There's a lot of airdrop opportunity. It might be a good idea to pre-sell your tokens, and you must get involved with Drip. Plenty more, let's dive in now. So starting at CoinGecko, the weekend has happened. We've seen some reversals, of course, which is to be expected. It was a very aggressive sell-off. Solana, this was quite vicious, dipping down to maybe 120 or something like that. Let's have a quick look. Maybe it's gone 120 on your preferred exchange, but now we're back up. So if you bought around this time, or if you even just did a little bit of a dollar cost average over the last few days, you would still be doing relatively well. And of course, if things start to keep on going up, then your DCAs in this time would be doing well as well. Now, as we talk about this, we're talking about price, nothing's financial advice. All I'm referencing are people that are good at this, that typically have a win rate of 60% or more based on what I see on Twitter. They can be wrong. So here's a take from Saint Pump. Max Pain is going up only from here while leaving mentally crushed bulls sidelined. Some traders are actually revenge shorting into a huge weekly recovery. Lowest funding rates of the year won't end well for them. So in his opinion, the bounce is in and things will start to go up. Of course, with new data, this can change, but at the moment, things are going up. Now this post was from yesterday, Sunday. Bitcoin hit the 57% I was talking about on the peak of the dump. Alts should outperform from here if there's no war escalation. He bought Sol and WIF. We'll add more once we know if Israel retaliates or not. If you haven't realized, Israel and Iran are in a deadly conflict at the moment, and it may escalate to war. I have no idea. It's political, it's sad, it's war. I don't want the war to happen. The tension over there is very high. GCR also says if you've been sidelined, believe this is a good opportunity to scale into high conviction tokens. If you're fully invested, just survive, hold your spot positions, and do not capitulate. This is very, very accurate. Obviously, plenty of traction. A lot of people agree with this. But someone once said liquidations are a forced transfer of wealth from traders who need leverage to wealthy spot buyers. And that's a reality. Every time you sell, there's someone on the other side actually buying. By the way, I got something wrong on Saturday. I had a misunderstanding of the word hawkish. I thought it related to wartime policy. So I'm just going to repeat this part here because I was wrong. I want to make sure that there were no mistakes. These were just some quick thoughts on the Middle East in this conflict. And of course, things tanked significantly. So this point here, this may feel like a dual replay of February 2022, as the Fed is also getting more hawkish. They will not cut 3 times in 2024 any longer. Cutting here refers to interest rates. And when interest rates start to climb, then spending decreases, mortgages are more expensive. And in order to stimulate economic growth, it's normal for the Fed to actually cut interest rates. And so it has happened in the past where interest rates have been cut 3 times in a single year. Now the actual definition of hawkish is here. What does it mean to be hawkish? Hawkish is seen as willing to allow interest rates to rise in order to keep inflation under control, even if it means sacrificing economic growth, consumer spending, and employment. Basically, when the Federal Reserve is hawkish, the upward potential for risk assets like crypto and stocks is lower. Now, Easy has a take on war. Sadly, despite how messed up it is, historically war has bullish price action on US markets. If they're stock markets, they're likely going to move over to crypto. So here are some examples. Invasion, dip, and then it increased. If we have a look at the Dow Jones, crypto was not the only thing actually affected. So things were pushing up, as we can clearly see in all-time high territory, 40,000 here, and then we had a dip down, and then another dip down. Over the last 5 days, losing 2.4%. Not so crazy compared to Sol losing like 20%, but you can still see that the markets are affected here as well. Now for a longer term zoom, we can have a look at Trader Cos and his viewpoint. He could be an idiot, but he thinks in a few more months, Sol buys in that 120s look like a bargain. So he's just buying more spot. Now onto on-chain news. So Parcl allocation details, they're coming sometime today. If you're in the Parcl Discord, you can check them out once they're released. Otherwise, I'll cover this tomorrow. Want to know what else is planned for Monday? Today? Drip. Drip says subscribing to Parcl before Monday might be a good idea. It's Monday now, but you're not too late because it seems as though there's been a delay. The Drip launch is being pushed to Wednesday. Lots going on early this week, and Drip deserves a dedicated day. Don't worry though, you will all have your own Mr. Parcl soon. This is most likely alpha of the day. Make sure you're on Drip, make sure you sign up and subscribe to this. I'll show you how to do it at the end. It's very easy. Barbiano has a good thread on airdrop farming. Long story short, people are taking their funds out now that the token generation event is on its way. But remember that all of these dApps, they want to keep you. So if funds move out and they continue some sort of perpetual points program, then maybe it's worthwhile either keeping in some or all of the crypto in that dApp in order to continue getting points. So as an example, Tensor's moving on to other things like Magic Eden, and Magic Eden has captured 80% of all revenue currently on Solana in terms of NFTs. And you can see in general a few other takes. One thing is definitely check out Meteora. This is not even showing you points, so people get a little bit frustrated about this, and so they may not use the dApp. Normally it works out. An exception to the rule is Drift.trade. The way they've done their point system is absolutely terrible, but other than them, I think everyone's doing a pretty good job. SuperTeam Earn has some decent bounties up. Most of it relates to content, but also if you're a dev, maybe you got some UI skills, you have bounties available. Just putting this briefly on your radar, but maybe I need to make a separate video on it. Sanctum uses LSTs. If a lot of people withdraw the SOL from the LST, then you have to wait until the epoch ends in Solana, which is about 2.5 days before you can get all of your SOL back. Otherwise, you're going to lose some value. That's just the way LSTs work, because the way that LSTs also work, liquid staking tokens, is they get their yield from being staked. So if all of it is liquid, or if a decent amount is liquid, then the yield will not be as high. If you want to learn more about this, I'll cover this in the future. In the meantime, just go and stake your SOL with validator.com and make sure you're not losing to inflation. Just a little reminder, it's been called out by Mert, which is a lot more reach than I have, but the Charlatans One Intro deleted their post after it got exposed so that retail isn't aware. And this is the account right here. And it's saying misinformation comes in all forms, and it's disappointing when it comes from influential figures. Don't know who the team is, 400,000 followers. There's now some more people following them, but what their strategy seems to be is to approach KOLs, offer some sort of pre-sale or maybe some agreement where they're going to get some tokens in order to promote their product. Website is not loading properly for me. Got let's have a look here, do a refresh, and it's just full of buzzwords. Now maybe this token does well because people are silly and degen's degen, but an all-in-one liquidity nexus on Solana powered by AI, this is just rubbish. The way this model works is there's a certain number of tokens that are going to be released. Now, I won't be jumping into this, and if I do decide to degen, if people start to think that this could potentially go up, I still probably wouldn't get in because I think it's not net positive, and I don't want to do anything that isn't net positive. So you can see the starting price here, like $1 or something silly. Right now, it's basically nothing, and then it'll get cheaper and cheaper. They've got all these tokens that they want to release. They've already raised $3 million, and as time goes on, it'll get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to buy them. The risk is if you want to buy down here, but all the tokens are released, say here, then of course you can't buy. Just be aware that I've had a quick look and I could not find anything to mention who the team was. On to Drift. Now, 10x points boost, they don't have a good points system. However, if you are putting a lot of volume through there, then it would work out for you, I think. Right now, there's a 10x boost on Sol, BTC, and ETH perp markets. So if you're going in with thousands, maybe tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of volume, then maybe it's worth doing. Phantom is continuing to improve their app, getting rid of token clutter, and you're able to mark things as spam very easily. And the competition is coming from Backpack as well. Backpack Exchange is live in the mobile app on Google Play. Just be very aware to ensure that this is the legitimate app, because it can be some scammy ones out there. 100,000 plus downloads. Marginfi says there's a surprise on our mint page as well, an updated points section. More coming next week. I must be honest though, they have hurt their public relations image. They have not done anything that I've seen to improve it. They all went quite nutty. I think it'd be worthwhile for them to jump on a podcast, hash out everything, take live questions, and settle everything down. So until they've actually sorted out their public relations, which they unlikely won't, I'll continue to cover them, but my funds in the actual protocol are very minimal. In the next few days, we should see congestion improve significantly on Solana, with potentially today a new upgrade being released on the network. One of the major reasons which made Solana so unusable was ore supply. And Tolly said, can this be put onto testnet, where the load can be handled, of course, and the Solana rewards airdropped on mainnet? Because you can have a look and see something like this. I mean, very, very smart, whoever this person is. But they were making $10,000 an hour by mining ore, with a wallet of $358,000. Now, maybe it costs them $100,000 in terms of compute, or maybe less, probably less to be honest. But whenever there's money to be made, that's economic activity, people will do very well, and they'll push that because it's free money. A little bit of advanced knowledge, set up maybe 1,000 cloud computing solutions, fund them with Sol, monitor them, and print money. Now onto some liquidation news. 2,000 liquidations avoided. There's been a lot of liquidations happening with Camino, Marginfi, Solend, which is to be expected when the prices of ETH, BTC, Sol, Sol, when they're all crashing. But if you use Rainfi, then it's peer-to-peer and there is no liquidation risk. So go and check this out. I'll quickly show you at the end of the video as well. In other news, Brian from Cogent Crypto was liquidated pretty significantly in Solend as compared to Camino Finance. Now the data that has been given isn't enough for me to conclusively know why or anything like that. So I'm just calling it to your attention. What he says though is the bots decided to skip the liquidation at 140 and liquidate at 120. There were 5 liquidations in 30 seconds. And this was a massive amount of liquidations, $20,000 worth. When we have a look at Camino though, also a massive amount of liquidations, but the liquidations happened at 145 and 137. I really don't have enough information on this to know why it happened like this. It could have been that Solend was doing everything perfectly. But I guess this is more, Camino is my favorite DApp when it comes to lending and borrowing. Now Solend hasn't actually posted anything since the 11th. They may have some information in Discord, but I do expect more transparency with a volatile weekend like we just had. A quick update on the leftover burgers that were not minted for Blessed Burgers. 46% of all burgers have said burn them. They will be burnt. Tomorrow on the LFT launchpad, Sharky will be launched. I don't actually know the time, and maybe this is a little bit of advice just in general for projects to make sure that it's very, very clear in your messaging in the first post what time something is happening. I've had a look in Discord as well, so maybe they're still working this out, in which case completely fine, just a little bit annoying, maybe including here, time will be released later today or something like that. We can see that Bybit is actually going to list this token April 16th, 10 a.m. UTC time, making me think that potentially it will be on LFG from about 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. UTC. And once again, this is not financial advice, but if you've got an allocation of Sharky tokens, it's normally better to sell them beforehand because the price tends to always go down. So as an example, currently Sharky is trading for $2.10. Even with the very decent flush over the weekend, we can see that people were selling them, 2 days ago for $5, $3, $2.90. Whereas right now, the price is $1.70. This is the buy order and the lowest sell order is $1.95. So if you have allocations to tokens, you may consider selling them a little bit earlier. As an example, and I know the flush has just happened, but Wormhole you could have sold for around $2, maybe $1.80, and then within a day of trading, it was trading for $1, and then it dipped down to about 48 cents, and I think it's around 65 cents right now. By the way, I won the content hackathon for Meteora. I got first place, and this is my listing right here. This is the best video on Meteora on YouTube. 20 minutes long, but it covers so much. Definitely get involved with Meteora. Very bullish on them. It's a little bit to learn, hence a very decent video. Now here's our actionables. First one, provide liquidity in Camino's Meteora vaults. This allows you exposure to Meteora while you're learning Meteora. You get Camino points as well as Meteora points. Number 2, Sharky tomorrow. Maybe you want to go and sell some on Whales Market if you've got an allocation. Not financial advice, of course, nothing ever is. Number 3, sign up for drip and claim droplets regularly, ideally daily, and sign up for Parcel's drip as well. I'll quickly show you this right now. So just go to drip.house, preferably go and use a wallet such as NFTs, or ideally your own dedicated wallet for drip. You need to have 0.1 Sol in the wallet so you can actually sign up. So connect wallet, Phantom, and confirm. And then what you need to do is you need to come in here and you open this every day, and maybe you get a legendary NFT. So you just come here, either legendary or rare, nothing here, but that's okay. And then you click on this and then you claim your droplets. You can claim this every single day. You can buy some and I'll cover that in a tutorial as well. You need droplets in order to keep on getting the artwork. Then as an example, we'll go to Parcl, click on Parcl and just click subscribe. Maybe, just maybe, you receive a small token allocation by collecting the Parcl compressed NFTs. Who knows? But that's how you use drip, my favorite DApp in all of NFTs. The other actionable is check out SuperTeam Earn and their bounties. Now quickly onto Rainfi and Magic Swap. As an example, if we went and we had $100 and we thought Sol was going to go up, one day, probably a little bit too degen for my liking, maybe 7 days, we would be paying some extra interest, of course, but we'd be able to borrow some Sol. If Sol continued to climb, then we would be walking away with a bit of a profit. If it went down, of course, we would lose money. But my point here is you don't actually get liquidated if the price of Sol decreases massively over the next day. You have until 7 days. It's peer-to-peer lending, so Sol could go down to $100. Then if it bounced back to 160 or something like that, you could then repay the $566.67 and you would be making a small profit. That's all for today. Stay curious. Catch you in the next video.